Welcome to Wednesday Live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Wednesday. Hope you're all doing awesome as we get settled in here. Make sure we're set correctly. And I can see the chat. Sometimes I can't see the chat. There we go. We're good. We're good, I think. What's everybody up to? Hope you're all doing awesome today on this wonderful Wednesday. There we go. I think we're set. I think we're good. Alrighty. Well, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live, whatever we're calling it. Welcome to Wednesday Live. That's what I'm trying to say. Haven't had enough coffee yet this morning. Cheers, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. All right, as we get settled in, everyone's getting a minute to tune in. RMS Paint Studios here. Says, hey, bro, what's up? What's going on? How's your day going so far? Hope it's doing awesome. And Scott's here, too. Scott says, good morning, Jeff and everyone. My 11 a.m. meeting is canceled, so I can join. Bam! Here's to canceled meeting, Scott. Welcome. Hope you're doing awesome. Right on. Bands from the Past is here. Bands from the Past says, what up? What up, Bands from the Past? How are you doing today? Right on. And Harry Dude. There's Harry Dude. What's up? Hello, everyone. Is what Harry Dude says. What's up, Harry Dude? How are you doing this fine Thursday morning for you? Right on. How's everything? How's everything in Australia, Harry Dude? Hope everybody's doing well. Hope the weather's treating you fairly as you're heading into your favorite time of year. I know. I'm sorry about that. All right. What's on everybody's workbench? You might have seen it from the thumbnail if you saw that. Yeah, I got a disaster here. We'll get to that here in just a few minutes. Bands from the Past says guitars. Yeah, me too. I got guitars on the workbench. And Donna's here. There's Donna. Donna says, hey, coffee up. Right on, Donna. Coffee's right here. Cheers. Ooh, that's good stuff today, too. Right on. Well, let's see. What has been going on around here? Oy, oy, oy. That's all I can say. I got like a dozen bass necks here. And finally, I think we have one that I've worked out the kinks. And I've even tested some frets. Made a few adjustments as I have to every single one of these. And yeah, I think this one, if it wasn't out of this particular wood with the cracks and splits, I think this one's usable. So I'm calling that a success. And yet one step closer from getting this subtonic put together. I was getting a weird shape down here, and turns out it had to do with the thickness of my neck. I hadn't fine-tuned the thickness to where I want it yet, but once I fine-tuned it, that smoothed out this radius and everything. And yeah, it turned out really good. And then I ran into another weird thing where I've been testing my fretboard markers, and that worked out fine quite a few necks ago. And when I did the radius, it just passed over. But then all of a sudden, for some reason, when it was doing the radius, it went back in and was drilling that back out. I don't know why, but I had to figure out why that was happening. But I think I got all the bugs worked out. Now I'm going back and just one last test run on the body just to adjust things like neck pocket thickness and pickup cavity size. Just some little details there that I'm trying to work out. Except I started that yesterday. I started the cut for the body, and then I got carried away with trying to multitask and had too many things running and popped a breaker, and it shut down the CNC machine right in the middle of the cut, which is kind of a drag because my particular machine, you can't just pick up where you left off when the power gets cut. So I got to go back in sometime today and modify the G code to try to start where it left off. But we're getting there. We're getting there. And I've started a new project, which we'll get to in a second. I need to catch up on some comments here. Harry Dude says, still swearing at LED stage lighting, but getting the hang of soldering with a heat gun. At least it's keeping me warm. See, there you go, Harry Dude. There's a bright side to every problem, right? It's keeping you warm when winter is settling in. Soldering with a heat gun, like I'm intrigued by that. So is it like a regular heat gun? I mean, I don't know. I have a heat gun. I don't have it out here. But how do you solder with a heat gun? Or is it a different sort of heat gun? We need more details. Or at least I need more details because I'm curious. But I'm glad you're staying warm with the heat gun. Paul's here. Paul says, hello all. Hope everyone's doing well today. Good morning, Paul. How are you doing this fine Wednesday? Hope you're staying cool down there. We've had quite a string of summer-like weather here. We've been in the 80s, almost hit 90 a couple days ago. And yeah. Christian Rogers says, sup guys? What's going on? Good morning. Scott says, you okay? What'd you do to your forehead? Oh yeah, you noticed. I got quite a bump on my head. And one thing about me, and at least those in my family, we always seem to hit our head on stuff. I don't know what it is. We always say it's a Baker thing. You just hit your head and you just carry on about your day. So we're going to get sidetracked here for just a moment. It's story time to explain what happened to my head. And I almost wore my beanie, but it's a little bit too warm for that, just to cover that up so I didn't have to explain it. But anyway, so a couple weeks ago we had a large tree. It was dead. It was dead standing. It's been that way for a while out in one of the pastures. And we had some really strong winds and it blew this thing down and it landed right on the fence. So I went out there probably a week ago. No, it was Memorial Day. So a week and a half ago, almost. And I chopped it up. And there's a couple sections I'm going to save to try to slice up with the chainsaw mill. But most of it was, I just cut it up into firewood pieces. Well, I don't really have a good way to haul these things to the dump or something like that. And I can't burn them here because, I don't know, it's just too dry. And I'll probably start some, like the state's biggest wildfire if I did. So definitely not the greatest idea. So I posted it up online. I said, hey, free firewood. Somebody wants to come and get it. And somebody responded and they came over to pick it up and they brought a horse trailer to throw all this stuff in because there was a fair bit. Probably a pickup truckload at least, but they didn't have one. So they just grabbed their trailer and we were going to load it up in there. I told them I'd help them load it and everything. Get it out of here. So I had like a hat on, like a brimmed, like a, I don't know, not really a bucket hat, but sort of, because I try to keep the sun off the top of my head. And on the side of the trailer, they opened up the back, which has a big door, but they also had a smaller door on the side. And I thought that would be kind of cool to be able to just throw these things in. But the door was only, I don't know, I'm showing you this, but you can't see my hands. The door was probably, I don't know, 30 inches tall. It's just a really short thing. I grabbed the first armload of this wood and I bent down to throw it inside and I hit my head on the top of that door frame. It was terrible. Even with a hat, that was through a hat. And yeah, it hurt really bad. Actually, for that whole day, it hurt. Never gave me a headache or anything, but man, just that scrape. It didn't even really cut or bleed or anything, which I was thankful for. But yeah, I whacked that sucker good. So here's a little inside tip, or not a tip, but an inside baseball kind of thing. Behind the scenes, there we go. In the video that I'm working on right now, I'm going to be wearing a beanie. And that's why. just to cover that up. Oh boy. So, yeah, that's what happened. Everything's fine. I'm good. It hurt, stung a little bit, was tender for a day or two. It's good. It's just a scrape. No big deal. It's slowly getting better, but it's taking its good old sweet time. So, yes, that's what happened to my head. Thanks for asking, Scott. I'm fine. Everything's okay. Just that's one of the downsides of not having any hair. When you hit your head, the whole world knows because there's no hiding it. Oh boy. Anyway, Paul says the joys of machine-built guitars. Of course, I don't know how many times I slip with a router and ruin something. Oh, I've been there, Paul. Been there. Yeah, I think no matter what way you choose, right? You're gonna run into issues. There's gonna be stuff. I've had templates come off. I've had the router catch, send pieces flying. Thankfully, all the digits are still there. But yeah, I think I've been through all of it. And I can almost say the same thing for this CNC journey. I think so far I literally have a dozen necks in some stage or another, minus this one. That's not. I'll show you that in a second. But they've all had some sort of issue that I've had to work through and figure out, and it's been frustrating, but I've enjoyed the journey. You guys know I like to try new things and learn new stuff, and this is just one of those things. It's just a little bit longer road than I expected. But yeah, I mean, there's no matter what method you choose to build, I think you're going to run into some sort of issues, even if you do it by hand, right? If you're going to cut stuff with a handsaw and in hand planes, you got to learn how to cut straight, and you got to learn how to plane straight, and you're going to have issues. Scott says, some of the quirks you're finding with the cuts on the CNC, are they because of user issue or because the CNC is hobbyist level? Granted, a high-end hobbyist level, a high-end hobbyist. Oh, I got you. No, Scott, I would say, honestly, it's all learning curve for me. It's not the machine. The machine's doing exactly what I'm telling it to do. It's just I've never gotten this in-depth with programming a CNC machine and tool paths and all that sort of thing. I think all of the issues is 100% on this guy. We'll blame that. I hit my head, and yeah. No, I do not fault the machine for any of these issues. It's just my learning curve, my personal learning curve. Not the machine at all. The machine's it's working fine. It's doing great. I just have to learn how to tell it to do the right things at the right time, at the right size, and all that sort of stuff. Scott says, I've heard of some issues with the Onefinity and some weird things happening. Yeah, there's really not. There was recently a new software update for the machine, and there was some weird stuff in there, but everything seems fine. A couple issues I had to sort out. It was really just some configurations and stuff, but I don't feel that there was anything wrong with the machine per se. All these issues, like I said, they're my fault. Just because I'm not sure how to do this or how to do that, and I just it's trial and error. I gotta figure out everything, and that's why it's taken me a little bit longer. But I'm okay with that. It's just a learning curve, trying to figure out processes and all that sort of thing. I don't fault the machine at all. Paul says, it's been raining almost constantly. Got drenched on my way into work yesterday, even though I had rain gear on. Wow. It's been a little bit. probably a week and a half or so since we've had some good rain, maybe 2 weeks. And we could use a good shower right now. I don't want a torrential downpour or anything, but a little rain shower would be kind of nice. Got my foot stuck in the seat. Christian Rogers, gaming clocks, wind chimes, and more. Says, sorry, I wasn't on a live stream last Wednesday. I was celebrating my birthday. Well, happy birthday. Hope your day was great. That's awesome. We'll celebrate with you. Heritage says, yes, regular paint stripping heat gun. Soldering surface mount LED modules on aluminum PCB, heating the back of the board to melt the solder on the front. Okay, now it makes more sense. Regular soldering iron, not hot enough. I gotcha. That makes sense now. So you're just blasting the heat in there until it melts the solder in. All right, that makes sense. That's cool. Time surfing alien. Guess who's back? The glare's back. Good to see it's finally warming up where you're at. Yes, the glare's back, minus the scratch on my head. Don't look at that. Everything's fine. RMS Paint Studio coming in with a super chat. Right on. Thank you, RMS Paint Studio. I appreciate that. Says, bro, do you have any tips to get or craft some DIY gobar rods? Any kind of wood? Any alternative, like any other material, easy to get at Amazon or a regular store? By the way, nice tattoo on your skull. Well, thank you. I've been working hard. It's still a little bit tender, actually. Thankfully, that one will go away. That's not a very artistic tattoo. I always hit my head. I do. It happens all the time. My brother's the same way. My dad's the same way. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let's see. DIY gobar rods. There are other things you can use. I don't have an exact recommendation because so far I've just been using, what is that? I believe the sticks that I have cut. This isn't one of them. This is a little bigger. I've just cut some sticks of wood a little bit smaller than this, like maybe a 1/2 inch wide, 1/4 inch, 3/8 thick. You know, this one wouldn't be good enough, but I've been using wooden sticks, and I believe mine are cut out of, I think it's silver maple. They're nice and bendy, and they don't typically break. And they've been working okay. I'm not super disappointed with them. I've built 2 guitars using those. There are some things that I've seen others using with pretty good success. If you go to the hardware store, and I've looked at these and thought about buying some. If you go to the hardware store, or even on Amazon, actually, you can buy them. They make these driveway markers. You may have seen them. They're made out of like a fiberglass, kind of like a tent pole, really, kind of material. And they're, I don't know, the one I've seen some pretty lengthy ones. You can buy these fiberglass driveway markers, and then I believe you can get these little rubber tips, and I forget which section they're in, but I know you can get them at the hardware store. You can also order them online as well with these little rubber caps. So you get these driveway markers. Sometimes they have a little reflector on there, and you just cut that thing off, and there's a fiberglass gobar rod. There's also, what's the other one? I believe it's like a kite rod, I think is what it's called. And I've not investigated this, so don't quote me on the exact lengths or anything like that. But I believe it's called the kite rod. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon, and I know you can on as far as those driveway markers. You can just buy those fiberglass rods. You know, and there's a couple different diameters that you can get, but I don't know exactly which size would be the best option because I personally haven't used them yet. I probably will because my sticks, while they work, they're not 100% perfect, and I would like to try some different things. But I know if you look for those driveway markers, and then there's a little, like I said, there's a little plastic sleeve thing. I don't even know what they're called, and I'm sorry about that. But you can get those and put them on there, and they work fine. You can cut them to what the length that you want. You know, get some longer ones, make some shorter ones. That's probably, if I was going to go out and get something right now to replace my gobar rods, that's probably what I would do. I would go to the hardware store, or, you know, punch it in on the old Amazon, and I would order some of those up. That's probably what I would do. Right this instant, if you told me, you need to get some of those, I'd just go order driveway markers and we'd give it a shot. 1/4 inch, maybe? 1/4 inch diameter? I think that was one of the options I remember looking at. But that would be my best option right now. But don't be afraid to just, you know, take some scrap pieces, if you have some longer scrap pieces of wood, and just cut them up into, you know, little thin, not too thin. I really think mine are about 1/2 inch wide and probably not quite 1/4 inch thick. I don't have them right here. I'd drag them out. Do I have one laying around? No, I don't. But that's what I would do. You know, just take some stuff you have, cut some strips, test them out, and maybe you'll find, maybe you got some material on hand that would fit the bill for now, while you investigate some other options. I definitely, I really don't think I would order them from the guitar supply places for something like that. I'd have to, I guess, compare the prices, but knowing several of the suppliers, they're probably more than ordering like a driveway markers or kite rods or something like that. That's about the best suggestion I have at the moment. Hopefully that helps a little bit. But that's what I would look at. Tony's here. Tony says, "Morning, sunshine." Good morning, Tony. How are you this fine Wednesday morning? Hope you're doing awesome. Oh, and here's Paul. Paul coming in with a suggestion to RMS Paint Studio. Says, if you're in the U.S., Harbor Freight sells some flexible rods for extending wires. I've used those for gobars before, for extending wires. Interesting. Yeah. There you go. Thanks, Paul. There's another suggestion. I never thought about that. Looking at Harbor Freight, I'll bet you they got something. They might even have fiberglass driveway markers. I guess if you have a whole bunch of old fishing poles, could you use them? They're pretty bendy. There'd be a lot of fishing poles, though. Paul says they're pretty inexpensive and work great. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out too, Paul. Thank you for that suggestion. Donna says, glad you're okay. Thanks, Donna. I just whack my head on stuff. I don't know. It just happens. I could just be sitting here and wham. Christian Rogers says, I just got finished building a wind chime. Nice. I built the ones I built several years ago, quite a few years ago, actually. I finally had a couple of the strings break. When I used the strings to dangle the tubes, I used like a 50-pound fiber, I think is it fiberglass? Is it fiberglass fishing line? Whatever that fishing line's made out of. It's a 50-pound test. Super heavy stuff. You can barely even cut it with like scissors and stuff. It's easier just to burn it. And I finally had a couple of those break. So I'm going to take a few minutes one of these days, maybe this week, and see if I can get those reattached. I've only got 2 now. I got 3 of these chimes are busted off because the line finally broke after years and years and years hanging outside in the elements. So I got to do a little repair on mine. But what'd you use for tubing on the wind chime? I thought about making another one and using whatever the biggest metal conduit I can find and just seeing what that sounds like. I'm sure that would be loud. You'd be able to hear that. Cars driving by would be able to hear that. But I thought that would be kind of cool. Paul says, I've seen laminated bamboo flooring panels cut into strips used successfully as go bars. Good if you can get some cutoffs. Just have to be a bit careful of splinters. That does sound like it could be a little bit splintery. RMS says, thanks a lot, Paul. Bam. 2 thumbs up for the suggestion. Speaking of that, 2 thumbs up. If you enjoy the lives, hit that thumbs up button. Well, I don't know where it is for you, but it's right there for me. Hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Helps I don't know, helps the channel. Let's just leave it at that. Paul, no problem. So yes, let's jump into what else I've been working on. I sort of had to take a step back after working on this because I need a video for this weekend. So what am I working on? Remember I said I got an old cigar box guitar that I need to rebuild the neck on? Well, that's what I'm working on. This was one of the earliest cigar box guitars that I made. I made this before I ever built any other sort of neck, just as a test for, fretting and that sort of thing. But the problem is I had to notch this thing quite a lot in order to get the lid for the box to close. Well, what I didn't know at that time was really that little bit of material right there is all that's kind of holding the neck together, and it allows it, I can't really show you this, but it allows it to flex, and it flexes a lot. So much that even though this one in particular was 4 strings, it would flex so much the action was absolutely horrible. So at one point I tried to epoxy on a piece of aluminum inside the box, but still that left this little bit of material right here. What is that, a 1/2 inch maybe? And the flex was still happening. So my little sort of repair didn't do anything. So I never really played this. Mainly because the action. I couldn't get the action where it was even playable. It was horrible. So it sat in the corner collecting dust, lots and lots of dust, as you can see. But I really like this cigar box. I really like the way this whole thing turned out. So I decided we're going to rebuild this thing and make it usable again. So I basically stripped pulled the neck off it, which really is not hard for neck screws. And I'm making a whole entire new neck. So on the first one, it's just one strip of 3/4 inch wood with a 1/4 inch fretboard, leaving me nothing. So the edge of the box is right here. There was nothing really to support the neck. So on the new one, the edge of the box is going to be here. I got a little bit of a heel, stacked heel, kind of like on an acoustic, and it's going to be a lot stronger. So I've got this thing almost done. I've just started putting frets in. I'm going to finish that up when we're done here, get the frets in, and then get to shaping the neck. I'm hoping to get this thing pretty well done today. Then I can get it edited for you all to check out. But one thing that's kind of cool, I'm taking some of the knowledge that I've been learning working on these bass necks, and I've transferred that over to this cigar box guitar. So this may very well, I don't really know, this is a bold statement, this may very well be the first fan fret multi-scale 3-string cigar box guitar with blind fret slots. Yes, it's multi-scale. Why? I don't know. Because I wanted to try it. So on the bass side, I got 25.5. Treble side is 24 3/4. So not a crazy change in scale length, but I wanted to try this. And yeah, I think it's going to be cool. So I'm working on a fan fret cigar box guitar neck. And something a little bit different. I've never fretted fan frets before. I've never fretted blind fret slots other than playing around on the bass. So I got to use the old fret tang nippers. And so far, so good. I only have 3 of them in because I wanted to test it before we came on here. And yeah, it's going to be cool. And hopefully, by having this little additional material on here, that's going to be a lot stronger. And I'll be able to play this instead of just sit in the corner collecting dust. Paul says, gotta love those CB Giddy instruments. This one, I do enjoy the CB Giddy instruments, but this one has no relation to CB Giddy. This one's all completely from scratch, including the box. Came from, I don't know, one of the local cigar places. The neck, handmade, scratch made, all that. But yeah, cigar boxes, they're just fun. I don't know, there's something about them. And I'm kind of looking forward to being able to play this one. So the original one I'd made as a 4-string. I am putting it back to a 3-string. I just like the 3-string better than the 4. I'm not a huge bluesy kind of player or anything like that. I just enjoy playing these, and I found that I like the 3-string better. So yeah, they're fun. They're just fun builds, and I think that these are a great stepping stone. I've talked about it before. If you're trying to build your skills and work your way into building guitars, I think these are great. There's a lot of things you get to practice that translate over to guitar building, but a few things you don't really have to worry about, such as a truss rod. You don't have to have a truss rod. You don't have to put a radius on the neck. This one's going to be flat. I have done some with a radius, but this one's going to be flat. No truss rod. And yeah, they're just a fun project, just something fun to have, sitting around and you just grab and play, and fun to play. But I'm interested in trying out a fan fret. It's kind of cool. A fan fret CBG, multi-scale. So that's what I'm working on. Hopefully, like I said, I'll have this finished up today. I probably got, I don't know what that's, a little bit of time to finish fretting this, then shape the neck. I got to install the ferrules, string ferrules. Hopefully I can get these out. I'm going to try to reuse these. I should be able to, because I'm not saving this neck, so if I got to dig in there with the chisel or something like that. The heck? Semis always go by and honk the horn, and I don't know anybody that drives a semi. So I got to try to get these string ferrules out, get those installed, get a finish on there. Should be done, hopefully, today. That's the goal. Maybe tomorrow morning, but I'm shooting for today. Robert says, hello, peoples. Good morning, Robert. How are you this fine Wednesday? Donna says, any summer vacations? We're trying to plan a trip back to Pennsylvania, to visit some family, some friends, and hopefully bring back some more lumber. I got a whole bunch of spalted maple stashed away back there that I couldn't bring back the last time we were there. I want to try to bring some more of that back. Maybe I can find I want to find some actual, like maybe some rough sawn maple lumber that I can use to build some necks and stuff. There's a lot of there's several places back there I can get lumber from. There's a lot more access to trees back there than there are out here, so hopefully I can find some lumber. There's several sawmills in the area that I got my foot stuck in the chair again. Stop doing that. Hopefully I can connect to or get connected with one or two of the sawmill places and get some nice lumber boards. I don't know, we'll see. But that's what we're hoping to do. Hoping to get back east at least for a short time. And other than that, I don't really know. We're just kind of getting into summer here. School's been out for 2 weeks now. And yeah, working on it. Working on plans, that's what I'm saying. Christian says, I'm starting to build a wall clock. Nice. Something that's been on my project list is wall clock, kind of reminded me. Is kind of those, you can buy the little inserts, basically, clock and humidity and barometric pressure, all that sort of thing. And the inserts that you just cut the holes in the wood. I've been thinking about something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. And definitely something that I would use, especially out here in the shop, just to measure humidity and and all that sort of thing. So that's something that I've been wanting to do. Just order up the inserts, clock, thermometer, whatever all you can get. Load them all up. Put all the instrumentations in there. I think that'd be kind of cool, and probably something that I'll do at some point. Yeah, I think we'll do that eventually. I just think that'd be handy to have all that information, temperature, barometric pressure, hygrometer. I don't know what else you can get, but I'm sure there's others. But I think that'd be cool. Thanks for reminding me of that by mentioning wall clock. Wall clocks are cool. I've built quite a few clocks over the years. The problem I have with a wall clock, and maybe you're making yours different, but for me, I usually use those little clock inserts, those clockworks that you can buy, the little square things. Then you fasten the dials, the hands and stuff too. I've bought a lot of those, and I've bought them from several different places. I cannot find one that will stay running for what seems, for more than what seems like a couple months. They seem to die right away. So I welcome all of your suggestions. If you've used some of those insert thingies, the clockwork kits, and they've worked out well, maybe they're still running after so many years, I welcome any and all suggestions, because that is a frustration. I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 clocks in the house that I've made. None of them work because the dang clockworks are junk. I've bought them from the hardware store. I've bought them from Woodcraft. I've bought them from, like the craft stores. I've tried all different brands, and none of them seem to last. The only thing I have not tried is actually ordering them online. They make some that actually are atomic, like atomic clocks. And those I feel like, well, they cost a lot more, but I think they might be a good option. I've just been hesitant to order them up. I think they'd be cool to have an atomic clock that that has the hands and all that. That's my next option, I think. But if you guys have any suggestions or where you've gotten some and they've worked well, I'd love to hear, because that is one frustration that I have. It'd be nice if the clocks that I made still worked. And it's not that I did something wrong. It's just the little mechanisms are cheap. I don't know. Rant complete. Let's move on. RMS Paint Studio says top 5 manual tools at your shop. Manual tools. Are you talking about non-powered? Let's just say, maybe you don't plug it in. Can it take a battery? That's not really manual though either. Top 5 manual tools. I would say hand planes. I still don't use them a ton. Unless I'm building a guitar, then I seem to use them a lot more. Or building an acoustic guitar, let's say, for dimensioning stock and that sort of thing. I would say hand planes, manual tools, like wrenches, screwdrivers, that sort of thing. Manual tools. I don't know. What? I need a little more. Give me a little more to work with here. What are we talking for manual? That way I can give you a little more fine-tuned answer. And then I'll get back to you. Sam says, sorry I'm late. YouTube didn't notify me. Well, that dang YouTube. Sam, good morning. Good afternoon to you, I guess. How are you this fine Wednesday afternoon for you? Robert says, I'm glad that I had a chainsaw since some of the tree trimming turned out to be bigger than I thought. Some of them were at least 7 or 8 inches in diameter. Wow. Yeah, that would be a drag trying to trim that by hand. I'm glad you had one too, Robert. Yeah, there's been times I'll be trimming a branch or something like that, and I'm like, this little pruning saw, no problem. 15 minutes later, I'm still doing it. I could have went and got a chainsaw and been done with it, but I don't know. We're just stubborn like that. Anybody else do that? Another thing that I end up doing, I always carry a Leatherman. Not sponsored, but they're awesome. And it has this little saw in here. This little saw is actually quite good. But what I always do is I try to tackle something way too big for this little tiny saw. I'm like, oh, I just got a saw right here. Again, 10 minutes later, I'm still trying to saw through the thing, but it is kind of nice to have a little saw in your pocket. Sam says, hello, everyone. Robert says they're a mulberry, which is very dense. Ooh, yeah. I'm glad you had a chainsaw. Scott says, if you find any good quality instruments, temp, barrel, etc., please post. I've been looking for some good ones. Yes, I've been kind of looking around as well. And I'm trying to stay away from, I don't know, yeah, the normal internet ordering sites. I'm trying to not order them from Amazon, or stuff like that. I want to get them from a place that specializes in parts like that. My thought is that the quality might be better. I don't know. And I can't remember the name of one of the sites. Is it maybe clockkits.com, clockkits.something net? I don't know. That for some reason Clock Kits is kind of stuck in my head. I don't know if that's correct or not. I've not ordered anything from them, but there's a couple places out there that just have all sorts of different things like that, and that's where I think I might order from. Let's see. Scott says this is all they do as a business. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. A place that just does that sort of thing. And that's what I'm talking about. Because like I said, I've got them from all over the place. Hardware stores, craft stores, woodworking stores, and they're all junk. In my personal experience, none of them have lasted. So it's a pet peeve of mine, and I'm looking for a replacement. Gina's here. Well, welcome. Gina says, hello all. I made it today. Well, good morning to you. I'm glad you made it in. RMS says, yes, non-power tools. Okay. I would say, for woodworking, hand planes of some form, you don't need several. But, a hand plane, a block plane, or, like a 4 or number 4 or 5 equivalent, as well as a block plane, I think would do a lot. Files and rasps, I use those quite often, almost always on a guitar in some area, but not always, or not exclusively. That's what I mean. They come in handy for other things as well. So some files and rasps, non-power. I don't know if you would count this or not, but sanding blocks. I have a whole drawer of sanding blocks, different shapes, sizes, stuff like this, where I have, different grits on different sides. This is all 4 sides stuck up with different sticky back sandpaper. A lot of them are homemade, just wooden blocks that you can use your hand plane to make sure they're nice and flat. All kinds of different sanding blocks. I use them all the time on tons of different projects. I'm gonna get there. Give me a minute. I gotta think. Of course, clamps. Are clamps considered hand tools? I don't know if they are. And hand tools, just normal tools. I don't just do woodworking. I do a lot of. I like to work on pretty much anything. Mechanical type stuff. So, of course, screwdrivers and wrenches and ratchets and all that sort of thing. That all lives in this box behind me. There's got to be more that I'm missing here. I would say it's not one of my top uses, but if we're not going to use power tools and you need to drill holes, you need a way to drill holes, right? You know, in old-fashioned brace and bit kind of drill, you know. I've got one around here somewhere. It's over there in the drawer. You got to have a way to drill holes. That's kind of handy, no matter where you're working on things. And that's kind of where those things are cool too, because they don't take any power. So you can be out in the middle of a field working on something and drill a hole if you need to. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. As I glance around, that's not powered that I use a lot. Does that count as a tool? I use it a lot. For sweeping up dust and things. What else? What would you guys suggest? Non-powered tools that you use all the time. A vise of some sort, to kind of help hold your work. A vise is kind of handy. I have a couple different vices, a little woodworking vise and kind of a metalworking vise. I don't know. I'm going to throw it out to you. What would you say? What would be on your list? Christian says, I use mechanical movements. Okay. How about more details? What, do you have a preferred vendor? Do you have a brand? What's worked out well? And how do I know if I'm getting a mechanical movement? I've not investigated this too far just yet. Does mechanical, I'm guessing, require no batteries? Is that the kind you got to wind? I've never tried those. Dallo's here. Dallo says, good Wednesday. Good Wednesday, Dallo. How are you this fine Wednesday? Hope you're doing awesome. RMS says, kinda chisel, saw. Okay, chisels. Yes, good call. I didn't know how finely tuned you want to get. Yes, chisels. You don't have to have super fancy ones. Mine definitely aren't. But as long as you keep them sharp, a good chisel will do a lot. This is just a cheap plastic handle one I've had for years and years. Probably could do with at least a stropping, but as long as you keep them sharp, they work really good. Oh, you guys remember? You guys will appreciate this one. Remember the roadside Harbor Freight chisel? I still have it. I don't use it very much, but apparently I have, because the edge is not. I'm not even showing you that. That's bad. Yep, found that one alongside the road. Chisels, saws. Yes. Kind of a Japanese pull saw, I think it's called. This thing works really good. I just used that yesterday for something. What was I cutting? Something on this guitar neck. Measuring. Good set of calipers, tape measures, different ways, rules, I should say, maybe. Stuff like that. The metal ones. I don't hardly ever use a plastic one for anything. Different measuring devices. And of course, who could forget the lowly pencil? I got a whole jar of these things in here. Every time I pick one up, it's got a broken tip. Every time. Am I the only one that happens to? I could take the whole thing inside, sharpen them all, bring them back out here, and the one that I pick up is going to be broken. Paul says, planes, chisels, scrapers, files, saw. Yes, scrapers. Good call on that. That's a good one. Sam says, I can't send you a super chat. YouTube has done something wrong with the PayPal payment. Well, that's fine, Sam. No worries. It's all good. It's all good. Sam says, you need an anti-bump safety cap. Hope you didn't hit your head too hard. Be safe, legend. I did hit it pretty good, Sam. I do have a hard hat. That's what we call it. Bump cap, hard hat. I have one, but what I was doing, I shouldn't have needed one. I just didn't pay attention. I whacked that sucker. Whew. It's fine. It's fine. It's just a scratch. Sam says, hello, Gina. Corey says, I prefer a chainsaw with an 8-foot bar on it. Then you don't have to stress your back out when you're bending over. That's true. I don't have one with an 8-foot bar, but I have one with a 42-inch bar. And yeah, I could see you got an 8. I don't even know if you could lift an 8-foot bar. That'd be a team lift right there. Donna says, or Donna asks, I should say, where does your passion for building guitars come from? Donna, that's a good question. I have played guitar, probably, let's see, probably over 30 years, I would say. My uncle gave me my first acoustic that I still have. I don't play it. It's a classical nylon string to learn on. But I've played guitars for a long time, and I've always enjoyed playing guitars. You know, started out quite a while ago, learning on my own. It's all self-taught. So I've always loved music. I've always, even, you know, in grade school, you know, doing the, you know, chorus class, and I've always did that going up through school, some kind of music thing. So I've always had a passion for music in general. I took piano lessons for I don't know how many years, you know, when I was, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 10, 11, 12. I don't know how old I was exactly, but probably for 5, 6 years, maybe. Yeah, it's kind of, we're stretching now, trying to remember. I've always had a passion for music. I've always loved music. And as I got older, I started learning more on guitar, and I've always just been a player. You know, starting bands, playing in bands for quite a few years. And I'm a lefty. You guys probably know that. And one of the challenges for a lefty is finding instruments that aren't just a black Strat, or, you know, a lot of the manufacturers don't offer all the options to lefties as the righties get. And that was kind of frustrating, because I would buy guitars used, and it would be black. I'd buy a black Ibanez. I have a black Strat because that's all they made, you know, for that particular model. And I really kind of got tired of that, you know. So there's a few that I have that I had painted. My brother's a painter. I would send them to him, have him paint them, just so they weren't all black. Otherwise, most of the guitars that I own would be black if we didn't paint them. And that's kind of boring after a while. I don't mind one or two, but I don't want all of them black. So I kind of had that in the back of my head, right? Like, they're always just black guitars. But another thing that I've always enjoyed is making things, doing things with my hands. You know, even since I was even, I don't know, 8, 10 years old probably, working on things with my grandpa. You know, just learning skills, working in his basement, little wood shop that he had. Just learn how to use the tools safely, and just, I've never lost that. Sorry if I'm going to ramble here for a few minutes, but I want to feel like I'm covering everything. So I've always loved doing things with my hands. Pretty much all of my jobs throughout the years have been doing stuff with my hands, working on a farm, you know, fixing equipment and that sort of thing, working in a manufacturing environment, fixing the machines and equipment there, always having a passion for building things out of woodworking. And then at some point, those two kind of combined, right? So I decided I want to build my own guitar. Actually, I was going to say funny story, but it's not really a funny story. Back in and I would love to find this if I can. So if anybody's got any resource, let me know. Back in the mid 90s, I don't know exactly. No, it would have been in the early 90s, maybe even the late 80s. I'm not sure. My grandpa would always get Popular Mechanics magazines and Popular Science magazines. And in one of those, I honestly do not remember which. I thought it was Popular Mechanics, but it might have been Popular Science. You guys remember? Anybody remember those? Hit the thumbs up if you do. There was a plan for building an electric guitar, kind of a Strat style. And I remember, I think I got that issue from my grandpa, or he gave me the issue, or maybe I copied the pages. I don't even remember that. But I held on to those plans for years and years and years because I wanted to build one. And that was already in the back of my head. But then at about, I don't know, when did 2014, 15, 16, finally I decided I'm going to build a guitar. I had just gotten some nice barnwood planks that were my grandpa's barn. And I decided I want to make a guitar from this because it's my grandpa's barn. It would be cool, kind of a sentimental thing. And really, that's kind of how the whole thing started. I built the body, used a bolt-on, used a regular pre-made neck, and I made 3 guitars that way. And then I made like 4 cigar box guitars, this being one of them, before I ever made my entire complete neck. But yeah, it's just that whole starting way back. I always had a passion for doing things with my hands and a passion for music, and they finally combined when I had these planks of barnwood ash. I think I called them hemlock at first because that's what I thought they were, but I'm quite certain they're ash now. And really, that's where the whole thing kind of came from. It was a very long and drawn out process, but yeah, hopefully that answers the question. RMS says, Paul, smiley face. Harry Dude says, I still use a hand drill so I can drill stuff in the middle of the night while the girlfriend is asleep. Yeah, you just shh, and it's fun. Robert says, chisels and gouges. Harry Dude says, hand tools, calipers, measuring tools. RMS says, that's a good one, Harry Dude. RMS says, thanks a lot for your input, guys. Yes, you're welcome. Oh, Dallo's got a new purchase coming. Ordered Trevor Gore's book, and now it's on delivery. Nice. I'll be interested to hear what you think of it. RMS says, what about the dust collector? You guys use regular vac or some kind of professional one? I'm thinking getting a Wen dust collector. I use a combination of both. I have a regular, like 5 gallon? 10 gallon? I don't know what size that is. Regular shop vac that I use for a lot of stuff. I do have a little bit larger one that I got from Rockler, one of their dust right systems, the smaller one. I use that for the CNC dust collection as well as for the drum sander. Drum sander needs a little bit more volume to keep that dust out of there. So I use the little bit larger one for drum sander and CNC, and then everything over here, I have 2 shop vacs. One's a really tiny one, which is kind of nice because you can take it out and vacuum the car and all that sort of thing. And then I have I don't know what those are, 20 gallon? I don't know. But it's a bigger one anyway. Oh, Sam's got the super chat. Right on, Sam. Thank you. Says, hope this goes through. YouTube did something to the payment. Towards your choice. Sam, thank you. And a cheers. Paul says, I have the Harbor Freight, but have swapped out the impeller with one from Rikon. Sam says, finally it worked. Not sure what YouTube did wrong. They need to stop messing around with the system, he says. Sam says, don't forget to smash the like button. I never understood that. Why do they say smash? I mean, I get it, kind of. They're trying to, be excited and stuff, but would you please kindly press the thumbs up button? RMS is looking at it, Paul. Thanks, bro. Paul says, if Rikon's out of impellers, order it as a part for their dust collection. The one for Wen is the same and works also. That's kind of cool. How the factories share, like, parts, I'm sure. Robert says, yeah, there for a while. When I went to click the button, instead of turning, the thumb symbol disappeared. Interesting. He says it's back to working correctly. Sam says, vacuum cleaners and dust collectors really suck. They do. That's their job. Christian says, tomorrow, I'm probably going to build a desk or a table. Oh, that sounds cool. One of these days, I need to build a new kitchen table. I don't know. It's going to be hard to do out here, but it is on my list of things to do for someday. Robert says, first time I even thought about making guitar, I was in high school shop class, and a guy built a Strat-style guitar in class. I thought at the time, I'd like to do that as well. I took all the shop classes. Every single shop class I could ever possibly take, I've taken. I don't remember anybody building a guitar. But that doesn't mean somebody didn't. I don't know. I just don't remember anybody in my particular class. So, but I want to go back really quick. Does anybody... I'm going back to the popular mechanics, popular science thing. I have tried on different occasions to track down that Strat article from one of those publications. Does anybody have any insight as to how one may find that? I found some back issues. The problem is I have no idea what back issue it was in, nor which one of those magazines it was in. I found a Telly build in one of them, but I cannot find a Strat build. And I'm quite certain it was a red Strat, and I think it had a white pick guard, the one that they had for their display picture. If anybody ever comes across that, I would love a copy of that article, because I really do believe that stuck in the back of my head from when I was little. Reading that in my grandpa's magazine is kind of what set that idea in the back of my brain. And I used to have a copy of those, but I cannot find those plans anywhere. If anybody ever comes across it, I would love to get a copy of that, or at least tell me where you found it so I can go find it myself. Yeah, popular mechanics or popular science. This would have been, I don't know when I got them exactly, late 80s, early 90s. I don't know. If anybody ever finds one, keep me in mind. Sam says mods are absolutely awesome. Yes, they are. Paul says, you're getting quite a stack of kindling on the bench. Yes, I am, Paul. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, why do I not just throw it away as soon as I start to make another one? I don't know. I guess maybe I want to show the evolution of my journey here. But yeah, this one is the only one right now that I could actually use. Well, if the headstock wasn't full of cracks and splits. But yeah, the rest all have issues here. Well, and this is going to get added to the pile. As soon as I pull the tuners and stuff off. But yeah, it's quite a pile. And bodies over here. Too bad I can't have a fire pit, because that'd be kind of fun. Weeks or months worth of trial and error. We'll just have a s'more roast. Sunpack and Rick is here. Rick, what's going on? It says try a library to find the magazine, but it would take some looking. Yes, I know. That's it. And they have back issues online, but it's really a matter of, do I pick the one from January 1989? Nope, not in there. Oh, now do I take the one from August of 1991? Nope, not in there. I don't know how you find it. They don't have at least I hadn't found a great way to search them. But yeah, it would take some looking. You're basically going issue by issue, I think. Sam. Yeah, there's wood. There's lots of it right there. It says, don't admit yourself online. RMS says, Sam, why you say that? RMS, Sam's just being sarcastic because they're vacuum, right? They suck air. So that's all he's saying. He's just being a wise guy. Just a wise guy. Cool. Well, anyway, guys, we are past the hour, which is totally fine. It's been a great one. I think it's about time to wrap this up because I got to finish fretting maybe the world's first fan fret multi-scale cigar box guitar. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I dare say that, but it's quite a hefty claim. It's probably not the world's first. I'm sure someone's done it, but it's my first, and I got to get back to work, get this thing done, because I got some editing to get after too. And again, don't mind my forehead. Let's see. Sam says it's a harmless joke. Yeah, it's all good, Sam. Paul says, have a great week, everyone. Sam says, be safe. Corey says you can look up the year of that article was written in a magazine. I've searched it, and I have not found the same article. Like I said, I found the Telly article in one of them. I got to do some more digging. But apparently it's going to be time consuming. So, but I will see what I can come up with. Again, if you guys are browsing around and you come across it, I'm quite certain that it was a red Strat style guitar from Popular Mechanics or Popular Science. One of those two. Robert says, everyone have a good one. Stay safe and healthy. Don't hit your head on things. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream today. Christian says, see you next week. Dallo says, thanks for the stream. Have a great week, everyone. Right on, everybody. Get on your shops. Build some cool stuff. Enjoy the weather. Unless it's winter. Hairy dude, I'm sorry. But you guys get on your shops. Make some cool things. Use your hands. Build some stuff. Have some fun. And stay safe. Stay well. Thanks for taking some time out of your day. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up on your way out. That's a lot of stuff. Let's wrap this up. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Thank you. We're out. Here goes the button. Will it work? It seems to work good on here.